Hello everyone, this is the recording for IS273 for week 1. The grading will be done on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday following the Sunday due date. The late policy, a 7-day grace period will be provided for late work. Any work turned in within the 7-day of the original due date will be graded with a 20% late penalty. Any work received after the 7-day grace period will receive a 0. No discussion posts will be accepted after the week is complete. Corrections may be made to assignments, but not to the discussion or to the midterm final quizzes, that kind of thing. I will post feedback when I grade your assignment that you can use for make corrections or to improve your discussion in the following weeks. Make sure you keep up with the class. It becomes unmanageable when you get behind. Set aside time to work on each class. Don't leave everything until Sunday because that's when things go wrong. Attendance and participation are very important, but just logging on doesn't count as either. You must either post to an assignment, to a discussion, or take a quiz or test. Lack of participation could result in your being withdrawn from the class. Make sure you have the correct textbook. If you received the 6th edition, that's fine. I think they just didn't update that yet, but because I received the 6th edition. So the reading this week is chapter 1. The discussion, the initial post is due Friday by 11:59 p.m. The topic is know the difference between the two concepts of computer security and information security is key to understanding the overall dynamics of information technology security. Please discuss the defining differences in detail between computer security and information security. Research and provide specific examples of each to support your definitions. The initial response must be at least 100 words and have at least one APA formatted reference, and that does include in-text citation. Initial posts must address the topic for the week and have no spelling or grammar errors. The best way to do that is to type them in Word and then copy and paste them into the message. That's how I check for spelling, is I copy and paste them into Word. So 3 replies are due by Sunday. Replies should be about 65 words, although I don't count the words, but if you have 3 or 4 sentences, you should be good. Remember, no discussions are allowed after the week is complete on Sunday. Please do not submit a document for your discussion. People should be able to read your discussion, even if they're connecting from their phone or from a tablet, and should not have to download a document. If you send me a document as your discussion, I will give you a 0 for the initial post. Check for your APA references. I use the HU APA tip sheet, which is found in the library under Formatting and Citation. Page 3 is for books, and page 6 is for web articles. References. The full reference should be at the bottom of the discussion, and the post should have in-text citation, which indicates what information came from the reference you're citing. So even if you only have one reference, you have to have one in-text citation. So the correct APA for the book is one of the two. This is the ebook and this is the print book, and I don't care which one you use. And then the in-text for citation, oops, I didn't put the right author, but it's authored year, and if you do a direct quote, you need to be author year and the page number. So references for a website article depend on whether there is an author or not. If there is an author listed, you must use the author. So it starts with author, date of publication, title, retrieved from URL. And when it says date of publication, it does not mean the copyright date at the bottom. It means when the article was published or recently updated. If you can't find that, then just use ND. If there's no author, then it's title of the page, date of publication, or ND, retrieved on date from URL. So the retrieved on date is the date you're actually looking at the information before you submit it. You must have a date field. If you do not have a date given, it has to be there. Use ND. As I said, don't use the copyright date. You must use the page title, not the site title. So for instance, if you go to Microsoft and use an article, use the article title, not Microsoft.com. A lot of times you can see the title on the tab. If you use that title, that would be fine. You must give the full URL so that I can find the article that you're talking about. Now, if you use a database from the library, such as ProQuest, you can use their cite tool. It's usually on the right in ProQuest. Make sure you have APA 6th. Then you just have to copy and paste the reference. Then the in-text would be the author's last name and the year. Or if it's no author, then the title and the year, or ND. Plagiarism is an act of fraud. It involves both stealing someone else's work and then lying about it afterward. So, for instance, if you copy an entire post from some article and you submit that without quotation marks, without a reference or in-text citation, you're telling me that that is your work and therefore it's plagiarism. So you must reference your material, and if it's copied directly from anything, it should be in quotation marks. Now, for the size of our posts of only 100 words, you should only have a couple of sentences that are actually copied word for word. Otherwise, you should either be using your own word, paraphrasing into your own words, which means changing all the words to different wording, not just changing one word. And then you have to still use in-text citation even though you paraphrased it, because that idea came from someone else. Since you're using someone else's information, you still have to have a reference. So anytime you use information from someone else that you don't know for yourself, and say you have a discussion and you know all that stuff, that's fine, but you still have to have an APA reference. So look up and see if you can find something that you didn't know before to add to your discussion. I do check your discussions for plagiarism and any papers at this website, but there are some others that are free that you can use. And then I just will give you a 0 if your whole post is plagiarized. So just be aware of that. The week 1 assignment is due Sunday. The topic is to recount the history of computer security and explain how it evolved into information security. Also, please include the role of the CIA triad has in the current implementation of the modern information security. The paper should be at least 2 pages, and that's double-spaced, Times New Roman 12 point. And that's really the only APA formatting. You don't have to have a title page or headers or anything. You should have a title on your paper and your name. And then you have to have a reference page because you have to have formatted references. And then this should be in addition to your 2 pages of body. And you must also include in-text citation to go with each reference. So make sure you check your paper for grammar and spelling. I use Grammarly for paper. And then I will check your paper for plagiarism. So make sure that you have everything referenced correctly. The week 1 quiz is due on Sunday. It can only be taken once. No network security, page 10. An email virus consists of a malicious code that is distributed in email messages. Possession of information, page 18. Information security, page 23. Bottom-up versus top-down approaches to security, which is higher probability of success, that's page 24. Using a methodology, page 26. The investigation phase of the SEC SDLC begins with a directive from upper management. The physical design is a graphical illustration of the system. No MULTICS, what that is, page 8. Protection is the process of safeguarding important information from corruption, compromise, or loss. Direct attacks, that's page 13. Information redundancy, such as error detection and correction methods. Confidentiality, that's on page 18. Salami theft occurs when an employee steals a few pieces of information at a time, knowing that taking more would be noticed, but eventually the employee gets something that is complete or usable. I don't know if you ever heard that song by Johnny Cash, One Piece at a Time. He steals a car, but takes it out one piece at a time so that they don't see him stealing. So that's what salami theft is. Key end users should be assigned to what? Page 24. Application systems developed within the framework of the traditional SDLC are not designed to anticipate a software attack that requires some degree of application reconstruction. And some of these I found in an older version of Whitman and Matford, so that's why I have included those. The security development lifecycle is a process that standardizes security best practices across a range of products and or applications. Know the analysis phase, page 28. Risk evaluation is the process used to compare the estimated risk against the given risk criteria so as to determine the significance of the risk. Know an information system, page 20. Physical design, page 28. Maintenance and change, page 28. Organizations are moving toward more what? Page 37. And then here are my references. So that's all I have for this week. If you have any questions, please let me know.